Here we are for the final round of Formula One Grand Prix this season. And we do have some things to talk about. I will be flashing back and forth between FP2. As we know, FP1, Oscar Piastri was not in the car. Lando Norris was. Now, here we are in FP2, and Oscar is back in the car after Allward, and Norris is as well. So I will be looking to see if FP3 also includes Lando Norris, because that at my point in time is a disadvantage for Oscar. And of course, the teams can pick and choose when they have these drivers step in for practice. It's not uncommon. This is very common throughout the season. My concern would be at some point in time, especially when Oscar took over the Drivers' Championship lead for several races and a boatload of points, is that probably should have been reconfigured. So if Lando Norris is not out in FP3, that to me is a disadvantage, period. If you got Norris in all FP free practice sessions and quali, that's a disadvantage. That's an advantage for Norris. I haven't checked the schedule ahead, but I will be looking to see if Lando Norris is not there for FP3. If he is, that's Lando Norris for a full 3 practice sessions and Oscar missing one of those practice sessions, which would be an advantage for Norris. What's going on, Sylvia Witt Kelly? What's up, Breezy? So this is also what I have to say, because to me it's absolutely ridiculous at this point in time. McLaren asked Oscar Piastri to basically help Lando Norris. Let's just stop it. Let's just keep it a buck. Papaya rules shouldn't be broken and inserted when you feel free that it benefits one driver. That's technically not how the framework that we were explaining papaya rules work. Papaya rules are everybody equal, everybody fair. We're not going to ask one driver or the other driver to do anything to be at an advantage for the other driver. Well, that's not what we've seen through this season. We've seen several times that Zach Brown and Stella have made decisions that benefit Lando Norris and not Oscar Piastri. We've seen several times that they've went ahead and given Lando Norris an advantage, not Oscar Piastri. We've also witnessed pit stop situation and strategies be horrible for McLaren as a whole. And then we watched as Lando had a bad pit stop and you asked Oscar Piastri to put him up front. But when Oscar had a bad penalty, you didn't do the same on the reverse. So here it is now. We're in Abu Dhabi, and you want Oscar Piastri to help Lando Norris win the championship by being a crash dummy. Those are not papaya rules. And Zach Brown looks foolish when he made the statement that if anybody beats us, I'd want it to be Max Verstappen. I'd shake his hand. No, what your answer should have been was, if anybody beats Lando, I want it to be Oscar. If anybody beats Oscar, I want it to be Lando. But whatever the result is, I don't want us to allow Max Verstappen to beat us for a world driving championship in 2025. It needs to be papaya. That's what your answer should have been. But your answer is very telling about who you favor, not to mention your business involvement in one driver's company, which you absolved once you got found out. It's never been papaya rules for real. That's all a front. It's all a facade. It's a mask. And now it's been ripped off. And Oscar Piastri is left out with a lot of boatload of work to do with a team who technically has been working against him. That's the way I see it. That's the way I see it. So right now, yes, we have FP3, FP2 up right now, and Hajar would be up into this, leading this session. Behrman, Verstappen. Now, you don't take a lot from the free practice sessions. We know that. All right. What's going on, Julius? We don't take a lot from the free practice sessions as what you're going to finally see when we do qualifying. Now, qualifying, this week we have an activation at the shelter. Same time qualifying's running. Okay, so we will be doing some great, awesome things. And then what I will do is come on live once I get back to let you all know how things went, and also to talk about qualifying and how that went. So, yeah, definitely I want to be there for qualifying, but we got something way more important that we are doing as a family, helping homeless people, have a good holiday and providing them items that are going to extend them beyond the holiday during this cold weather time and further. So we're doing some awesome things there. So it's definitely worth us missing live qualifying together. We will be live later on. We'll be in the Discord. We'll be there for the live race. So all of that is good. But yeah, this situation. So they're at the press conference, and it's oddly funny that Lando, I would love that. Yeah, I bet you would love that. I bet you would love if Oscar helped you now. And you talk about that's what I'm about. No, that's not what you're about. Lando Norris, that's not what you're about. Because we all saw what you really about. You finally made the right decision, but only after being instructed several times, and then you were posed with an ultimatum. You were not going to do the team thing for Oscar Piastri when they were telling you to make the switch. You had to you fronted it. Then finally over the radio, they tell you one day you're going to need us. One day you're going to need Oscar. You got to make the right decision. That went on for several moments. That's really what you're about. That's really what you're about. So don't try to get up there now during the press conference and talk about you're about helping the other guy win. It's what I would be about. We saw what you would be about in live action, bro. Nobody has to be coached that much to do the right thing if they're really about doing the right thing. No, what you did was weigh your options of, well, damn, if I need them, then I better do this because I really might need them to do it for me one day, so I'm a switch. That was a this for that. That's what we call quid pro quo, okay? That's what we call quid pro quo. That means this for that. That means I'm only doing something if you give me something in exchange. I'm not doing something out of the betterment of. They put you there. They babied you there. They gave you an update to help you get there. And now that you're there, nothing is going in Oscar's favor but asking him to try to help you win the driver's championship. If I was Oscar, I'm saying fuck no. All day long, I'm saying no. I'm not helping you win the championship, bro. I'm finna go out here and do what I got to do to win the championship. And if you're in my way, then so be it. Since Zach says he won't mind, if Max Verstappen beats us, you better be careful going into the turn with me. You better go ahead and then knee that Max knee. You better bend the Max knee when you see me in the turn. Because I'm going to give you the same bully bold type of treatment. That's not going on around here. They crazy out here with this. Facts, Julius, I'm trying to tell you. What's up, AF1? I see y'all. What's up, Sylvia with Kelly? Incredible Facts Quest. Yeah, that's not even happening. That's not the game plan. Not the game plan for me anyway. Maybe that's the game plan for you all. Now that you see you've managed to finagle everything to be in that favor and make it happen, but that's not where I'm going. So Oscar Piastri, I hope he says hell no. I hope he doesn't do it. I wouldn't do it if I were him. And that's just how it's going to be. You didn't want to give me the favor. Lando has never led a driver's championship with as many points as Oscar has, period. And that's because Lando is not the better driver. Lando is not the mentally strongest driver. Lando is not the driver who can battle Max Verstappen. Lando is not going to be regarded as this overall miraculous McLaren champion. It's going to be celebrated. It's going to be awesome. I prefer Lando win, Max don't. I prefer Oscar win over all of them. But McLaren muffed this up, and they muffed it up because they were doing something that they had no business doing. And technically, that's what happens when you do that. When you're not doing it on an even keel, when you're not giving everybody the opportunity for even amount of points or even amount of opportunities to beat you, when you're trying to just construct it to put everybody else at a disadvantage and just up yourself with them having no advantages to you. If you set up an event, everybody shows up, everybody has an opportunity to get the points because they can compete. Now, whether they compete or whether they're physically able than you or not, that's just fair game. That's just fair game. But McLaren, you did what you did, so you know what happens when the chickens come home to roost. It's technically not always a good thing for you. For sure. And we talked about this, right? We talked about Oscar Piastri's mentality and his thought process. And, of course, you always want to be with a team, Sylvia, with Kelly, that's going to be able to win, right? You want to be with a team that's going to be able to win. But Sometimes you can't be with a team that's going to cheat you. You got to fight your team, fight your teammate, fight the higher ups, fight everybody else on the grid, fight it's crazy. AF1, Oscar better stand his ground. He should. If he doesn't stand his ground, I would be ultimately disappointed in Oscar to not stand his ground. I'll be disappointed in Oscar to not stand his ground. I'd be disappointed in his decision, not Oscar himself. I'd be disappointed in his decision not to stand his ground. He should completely stand it. He should completely stand on business. And like I said, I'm going to be paying attention. If Lando Norris is in FP3, all right, we're going to be watching that for sure. So don't forget, we will have the wheel spin sometime this week or starting off next week for the Formula One trading cards. You do a super chat. Every time you do a super chat, you get your name on the wheel. We will spin the wheel to see who's going to get that prize in the final race for the final season. But we're going to have more prizes going on in the off season, so do not forget about that. But yeah, this is crazy. This is ridiculously obvious. And whatever they get is what they get. If Max wins the championship over McLaren look like buffoons and assholes. If Lando wins, we all saw what you did. If Oscar wins, that's what the hell you get. That's how I feel about that. So it is what it is. So you all stay tuned, stay up, stay healthy. Don't let anybody ruin your day if you can avoid it. If you happen to have a negative portion of your day, do your best to try to rise above it, all right? We're going to be out. We're going to see you on the next one. Peace and love. Abu Dhabi. Could be crazy. Some of y'all are not going to watch, I know. But those who are not going to watch, you can come here when we do the clips and the highlights. And those of you who are going to watch, we're live in the live chat before we go live on race day. So you could come join us in the live chat to chat back and forth before we go live on race day, all right? Peace and love. See y'all soon.